The accusation. The dungeons reeked of despair and broken dreams. Luna Seline pressed herself against the cold stone wall, her once elegant baby shower dress now a mockery of silk and stains. 3 days had passed since they'd thrown her into this hell, and she could no longer remember what clean air felt like. Still too proud to beg, "Your Majesty," sneered one of the prisoners, his voice echoing off the damp walls. The others laughed, a sound like breaking glass in the darkness. Seline pulled her knees tighter to her chest. She'd spent 10 years as the perfect Luna of the Northern Territories, devoted to her pack, loyal to her alpha mate Leo. And this was her reward, accused of murdering his pregnant mistress, Bella. The evidence had been perfectly planted. A poison vial in her chambers. Journal entries in her handwriting detailing deadly toxins. Someone had studied her, knew her habits, wanted her not just dead but completely destroyed. Heavy footsteps echoed down the corridor. "Time for questioning," a guard announced. They dragged her through the gardens, winter sunlight burning her eyes after days in darkness. The scent of hundreds of shifters filled the air, not just their pack, but representatives from every allied territory. Leo had made this a spectacle for the entire shifter world to witness. The great hall doors swung open with a thunderous crash. Afternoon light streamed through towering windows, creating a halo around Leo's golden head as he lounged on what could only be called a throne. His presence filled the space like a god preparing to render judgment. This wasn't the mate she'd known for 10 years. This was something ancient and terrible. "Bring her closer," Leo commanded, his voice carrying to every corner. The guards shoved her forward. Her knees hit the marble floor hard enough to bruise, but she kept her chin raised, refusing to show weakness even now. "Luna Seline," Leo's voice rang with authority, "you stand accused of murdering Bella, my consort, and our unborn child, my heir." Each word fell like a stone into still water, sending ripples of anticipation through the crowd. "2 other alphas will assist me in determining your fate," Leo continued, gesturing to his right. "Alpha Cedric of the Southern Territories." Cedric studied her like a particularly interesting specimen. She remembered earning his respect through careful negotiation at diplomatic functions. Now his gaze held nothing but clinical interest. "And our third judge." Leo trailed off, clearly annoyed by approaching footsteps. The crowd parted, murmuring in recognition and something else, fear. "Is this where I come in?" a voice boomed through the hall. Seline's heart stopped. That voice, smooth, dangerous, capable of shifting from playful to lethal in a heartbeat. But it couldn't be. Not here. Not now. "I apologize for my tardiness," the voice continued, closer now, "but my brother's funeral arrangements have kept me quite busy. Though I wouldn't miss this for the world." "We know," Leo ground out. "You made that perfectly clear." The crowd parted fully, and there he was. Jace. No, King Jace now, wearing the title like he was born to it. His blue eyes found hers across the crowded hall, and for one breathless moment, the world narrowed to just the two of them. "King Jace," Leo inclined his head stiffly. "How nice of you to join us." But Jace wasn't looking at Leo. He was looking at her with warmth that made her heart stutter against her ribs. "My queen," he greeted her, the endearment spoken so naturally it sent a ripple through the crowd. He approached with fluid grace, extending his hand. "So this is what you get up to when I'm gone," he murmured teasingly, taking her hand and helping her to her feet as if she wore finest silk instead of prison rags. When he brought her hand to his lips, the gesture felt like a declaration of war. "Shall we proceed?" Jace turned to Leo, his smile holding all the danger of a drawn blade. The crowd erupted in whispers as the Leopard King moved to take his place beside the throne, and Seline realized her fate now rested in the hands of 3 alphas, one who wanted her dead, one who saw her as a political puzzle, and one whose presence here defied all logic. The trial was about to begin, and she had no idea which way the winds of justice would blow. "The trial begins. How do you plead, Luna?" Leo's voice cut through the afternoon light streaming into the great hall. Seline met Jace's encouraging gaze before answering clearly, "Not guilty, Alpha." Leo's laugh was cold and sharp. "You claim you had nothing to do with Bella's death." "I do." "Let us review the evidence then." Leo held up a crystal vial, letting it catch the light. "This poison was found in the Luna's chambers. The same type that killed my consort and heir." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Seline felt their stares like physical weight on her skin. "Found rather easily, wouldn't you say?" Jace's voice held dangerous amusement. "Anyone could have planted it," Seline added, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Leo revealed a leather journal next. Along with this, pages of research on poisons, in her own hand. Alpha Cedric leaned forward, his dark eyes narrowing. "That is rather condemning." "Which again could have been planted," Jace challenged smoothly. Leo's patience was clearly wearing thin. Why would Seline even do this? Isn't it obvious? Leo's power crackled through the air. Jealousy. She hated Bella from the beginning. Perhaps she resented that another would bear the Alpha's child when she could not. Jace snorted dismissively. She doesn't have a jealous bone in her body. Not even over the man she loves. The man she loves? Cedric asked, intrigued. Jace's smirk was razor-sharp. Seline doesn't love Leo. The words hit like a physical blow. Leo surged to his feet, rage filling the room like smoke. "You dare." "Bring in the witnesses," Cedric interrupted, clearly fascinated by the drama unfolding. Beta Kendrick approached first, sweating under Leo's intimidating stare, refusing to meet Seline's eyes. She frowned, she'd always gotten along well with Kendrick. He often came to her for advice instead of bothering Leo. The Luna was always cold, Kendrick said to the floor. Calculating. The way she'd watch everyone like she was waiting for us to make a mistake. And toward Lady Bella specifically? Leo pressed, his power making his Beta's jaw clench. Kendrick's shoulders sagged in defeat. She resented her. We all saw it. One by one, they stepped forward. Pack members whose disputes she'd settled, whose children she'd named, whose marriages she'd blessed. Under Leo's oppressive stare, they spoke of imagined wrongs, looking increasingly uncomfortable. She never smiled at Lady Bella's happiness, one said nervously. Always undermining her authority, another added reluctantly. Made her feel unwelcome, came the third hesitant accusation. The marble floor seemed to absorb their betrayal, growing colder with each false word. Only Sarah, when called, stood straight back despite Leo's growl of warning. The Luna has served this pack faithfully for a decade, Sarah declared, her voice ringing clear. She stayed dignified while others gossiped, strong while others wavered. She is the most honorable person I know. Leo's power crashed against her like a wave, but Sarah didn't flinch. Are you sure about that, Sarah? Cedric asked mildly. Alpha Leo seems to disagree. Sarah's eyes swept the crowd. I speak the truth. The tension was electric until Leo called the next witness. Lady Catherine. Seline's breath caught as her mother entered, silver-streaked hair gleaming in the afternoon light. Their eyes met, years of distance dissolving in shared pain. Oh, Seline, her mother breathed tearfully. They wouldn't let me see you. I'm so sorry. Tell us of your daughter's character, Leo cut in impatiently. Catherine sent him a dark look that could have frozen fire. My daughter has devoted her life to this pack, to you. She's shown nothing but loyalty, even when it cost her dearly. Yet she couldn't give me an heir, Leo interrupted smugly. It takes two to make a baby, Jace observed, examining his nails with studied casualness. How are you so sure the fault isn't with you? Leo jumped to his feet, enraged. How dare you? Bella was pregnant with my child. I recall she was pregnant, Jace replied with a shrug. The father's identity remains, questionable. Seline gasped at the bold insinuation. Her mother, reading her expression, intervened quickly. She may not have given you an heir, but my daughter has given you everything else. Catherine's composure cracked, raw pain bleeding through. Her youth, her dreams, her chance at real love. Your maternal bias blinds you, Leo scoffed. Siobhan would never do this. The name exploded from Catherine like thunder. The crowd stirred, whispers rising like wind through leaves. Siobhan. Cedric leaned forward, interested. Catherine's chin lifted proudly. Siobhan is my daughter's birth name. Before Alpha Leo changed it because he couldn't be bothered to learn its proper pronunciation. From the corner of her eye, Seline saw Jace go rigid, color draining from his face. She tried to catch his gaze, but he seemed too shocked to notice. My daughter has only ever been faithful to her pack, to her duty, and to a mate who never deserved her, Catherine concluded with quiet dignity. Enough of this, Leo rose, power rolling off him in waves. The evidence is clear. It's time to vote. Celine's heart pounded as she realized her fate would be decided in moments. But something had shifted in the room when her mother spoke her true name, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the real trial was just beginning. Fated revelations. Perhaps we should interrogate the accused first, Cedric suggested, clearly reluctant to rush to judgment. Leo sighed irritably. Fine. Seline, speak. Seline inclined her head politely. I didn't do this. I didn't kill Bella. Right. Convincing, Leo snorted. I didn't kill her, Seline insisted, her voice growing stronger, but perhaps I know who did. Gasps and murmurs echoed throughout the chamber. Even Leo's eyes gleamed with reluctant curiosity. Tell me, Alpha, Seline met his gaze steadily, have you seen Bella's bodyguard since her death? Ian seems conspicuously absent today. Leo frowned. What does that matter? He hasn't been seen since Lady Bella's passing, Sarah called from the crowd. Not by anyone. Seline felt the pieces falling into place. If anyone had clear access to Bella and a true motive of jealousy, it was Ian. It's quite the coincidence that the one person with opportunity and motive simply disappears. What are you implying? Leo's power crackled dangerously. Seline took a deep breath. I have reason to believe Bella was having an affair with Ian. The words landed like a bomb in the silent hall. Leo surged to his feet, his face twisted with rage. Impossible. Bella would never. What makes you say that, Seline? Jace interrupted, his face still oddly pale and distracted. Seline met his troubled gaze. Because I caught them together in the gardens one night. I saw them embrace passionately. I heard Ian tell her the child was his, not Leo's. Lies. Leo roared, his fury making the torches flicker. I am the father. Perhaps, Seline said quietly, though Ian didn't think so. Leo's rage filled the room like smoke. Either you're lying now, which only proves your hatred of Bella, or you knew of this affair for months and said nothing, putting her at risk. Either way, you've sealed your own guilt. Being guilty of discretion isn't the same as murder, Jace pointed out, but Leo was already turning to Cedric. Vote, Leo commanded. Now. I believe her innocent, Jace said immediately. Cedric hesitated, and Seline held her breath. Leo would clearly vote her guilty, making Cedric the deciding vote. Perhaps with more time, Cedric began. I will not stand for my child's death to go unpunished any longer. Leo roared. Vote now, Cedric, or I swear. Fine, Cedric sighed, looking fed up and uneasy. Without proof of this affair, but with evidence of her guilt. He shook his head. I must vote against the Luna. Leo's smile turned feral. Then as Alpha, I declare Seline guilty. The sentence is death. The crowd erupted in horrified murmurs. Seline felt numb, almost disconnected from her own body. She'd known this was coming, but the reality hit like a physical blow. Her eyes found Jace's amidst the chaos. His were flecked with gold and filled with desperate determination. "No," Jace stood, and something in his voice made the entire hall hold its breath. "No." Leo snorted. "As if you have any right to." "I claim right of substitution," Jace cut him off. The silence that followed was deafening. Even Leo gaped for a moment. "Right of substitution?" Cedric looked bewildered. "You wish to die in the Luna's place?" Seline shook her head frantically. "What are you doing? Is this some sort of trick? On what grounds?" Leo sneered, recovered from his shock. "You're not her pack, not her alpha, not her. This woman is my fated mate," Jace declared. Celine's gasp bled in with the entire chamber's collective shock as Jace's gaze locked with hers. "It's true," he murmured, as if answering a question she hadn't asked. "Impossible," Leo snarled, but uncertainty crept into his voice. Jace's smile turned dangerous as his fingers moved to his shirt. "Shall I show you my mark? The name I've carried since birth." His eyes never left Celine's face. "I've spent years searching for a Siobhan, when all along she was right here, calling herself Seline." The words echoed through the sudden silence. For one breathless moment, joy flooded Celine's chest at the sheer possibility of having found her true mate. Then horror crashed in, he was offering to die in her place. "No," she jumped up. "No, he's lying." "I'm not, Seline," Jace's eyes blazed with challenge. "You know I'm not." "Well, which is it?" Cedric leaned forward, intrigued. "Are you fated mates or not?" Seline shook her head vehemently. "Of course not. I'd know if he was my mate." "Would you?" Jace's tone gentled. "You're a wolf, you don't bear marks like we do. And you're already mated, which clouds the connection further." "I would feel something," she insisted, though her voice shook. "Would you?" Jace smiled, soft and tender. "When you look at me, do you truly feel nothing?" "Nothing," Seline repeated, though tears betrayed her. "I'll bet 5 gold pieces she feels something," Cedric muttered to Leo with dark amusement. "I can prove it," Jace said loudly for the entire room to hear. "My mark will glow at your touch, if you truly are mine." Their eyes met, and Celine's heart sank. She already knew the truth, could feel it humming between them like a plucked string. But she didn't want to find him only to lose him, didn't want him to sacrifice himself for her. "Come forward," Leo commanded. A guard half-dragged her to where Jace stood. He began unbuttoning his shirt, and Celine's hands moved without thought, turning him away from the crowd's hungry stares. "Rather possessive for someone who feels nothing," Cedric observed dryly. Jace's skin gleamed golden in the afternoon light. The mark sat above his heart, her name, her true name, written in elegant script that seemed to shimmer with ancient power. "Siobhan," she whispered, seeing it there sending a pang through her chest. Another thing Leo had taken from her. "Get on with it," Leo snapped. Jace's knowing smirk didn't quite hide the tenderness in his eyes. Celine's hand trembled as she reached for the mark. The moment her fingers brushed his skin, heat bloomed, spreading outward until her whole body hummed with awareness of him. Light spread beneath her fingertips, the mark beginning to glow with soft blue radiance that bathed them both in ethereal light. "Well," Jace's voice held quiet triumph, "that solves it then." For one precious moment, Seline felt complete, as if a piece of herself she'd never known was missing had finally slotted into place. The connection between them sang like a perfectly tuned instrument. Then Leo's satisfied voice shattered the moment. "Well then, as her fated mate, you have the right to take her place. The execution will proceed as planned." And Seline realized that finding her true mate might be the cruelest twist of fate yet. The hunt for truth. The mark's glow faded, but the connection between them remained, thrumming with life and possibility. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the political implications hit. They weren't just watching a trial anymore, but a tragic romance that could spark a war. No, the word tore from Celine's throat, raw with desperation. I won't let you do this. You can't stop me, Jace's voice held gentle finality. I'm a king now. I outrank you. She stomped on his foot hard enough to make several witnesses wince. His quiet laugh only fueled her fury, though his scent, sandalwood and midnight air, wrapped around her like a caress. Leo, please, she turned to her mate, heart pounding. Not only am I innocent, but Jace had nothing to do with this. You'd start a war over nothing. Leo's eyes gleamed with malice. Someone must pay. The leopards won't stand for this, she argued, shooting Jace a severe look that he met with infuriating calm. I'm selfish, Jace interrupted softly, his fingers tightening around hers. I choose your life over mine, over anything. I know, her voice cracked, but I won't let you. She turned to Cedric, desperation lending steel to her spine. Give me time to prove my claims about Ian. 1 week. This does complicate matters, Cedric mused, studying the way Jace's thumb traced patterns on Celine's palm. Executing the Leopard King would have consequences. The evidence, Leo snarled. Yes, Cedric waved away his protest, but now we're talking about killing the leader of a foreign pack. Politics become messier. The crowd's murmurs grew louder. Someone mentioned ancient treaties between wolves and leopards. Another voice recalled the last time a fated pair was separated by violence, how the surviving mate had laid waste to 3 territories in their grief. 24 hours, Cedric declared, his words falling like stones. You have until sunset tomorrow to prove Ian's guilt, or the execution proceeds. Celine's relief was short-lived. 24 hours to find a man who'd vanished without a trace. Guards will escort you both to secure quarters, Leo announced, clearly unhappy with the delay. Under heavy watch. As they were led from the hall, Jace leaned close to whisper, trust me. We'll find the truth. But Celine couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out faster than sand through an hourglass. Their secure quarters turned out to be adjacent cells in the castle's tower, with thick iron bars separating them. At least these were clean, with actual beds and a wash basin. Celine immediately set about scrubbing days of grime from her skin and hair. Tell me about Ian, Jace said quietly, settling on his cot with feline grace. Celine paused in her washing. He was Bella's bodyguard for about 6 months. Leo assigned him after some threats from a rival pack. He was intense. Always watching her, hovering closer than necessary. When did you see them together? 3 weeks ago. I couldn't sleep and went to walk in the gardens. They were by the fountain, and Ian was telling her the baby was his, that Leo could never give her what he could. Celine's voice dropped. She was crying, saying it was too dangerous, that Leo would kill them both if he found out. Did you confront them? No. I thought it wasn't my place. Bella had made it clear she saw me as an obstacle to her happiness with Leo. I didn't think she'd listen to me. Jace was quiet for a long moment. Where would Ian go? He's a wolf, not a leopard, he can't just disappear into our territory. He has a sister in the Eastern Territories. Maya. She runs a tavern in Millbrook. Celine met his eyes through the bars. If he's anywhere, it would be there. Then that's where we start. We. Jace, you're locked in a cell just like me. His smile was pure predator. Celine, love, I'm the Leopard King. Do you really think these bars can hold me if I don't want them to? Before she could ask what he meant, he was moving, his form shifting and blurring. Where a man had sat moments before, a massive black leopard now crouched, easily slipping between the bars that had seemed so solid. He shifted back to human form in her cell, and Celine's breath caught. Show off. I prefer resourceful, he grinned, then grew serious. But we need to be smart about this. If we're caught outside these cells, Leo can claim we were trying to escape and execute us immediately. Then how? A soft knock interrupted her. Sarah appeared in the shadows beyond the guard station, a finger to her lips. She held up a set of keys and gestured for silence. Some of us still believe in justice, Sarah whispered as she unlocked Seline's cell. The guard is indisposed for the next few hours. Sarah, if they catch you. They won't. I've been sneaking around this castle since I was a child. Sarah pressed a bundle of clothes into Seline's hands. Disguises. There's a horse waiting in the old stable. Jace clasped Sarah's shoulder. Thank you. Bring back proof, Sarah said simply. And bring back our real Luna. The ride to Millbrook took 6 hours, their borrowed horse pushed to its limits. Seline rode behind Jace, her arms wrapped around his waist, trying not to think about how perfectly she fit against him, how right it felt. The tavern sat on the outskirts of town, a rambling building with warm light spilling from its windows. Maya looked like Ian, the same dark hair and sharp features, but where he'd been intense and brooding, she seemed warm and welcoming. Until she saw Seline. You, Maya's face hardened. What are you doing here? We need to find Ian, Seline said carefully. Lives depend on it. He's not here. But he was, Jace observed, his enhanced senses picking up the scent trail. Recently. Maya's jaw tightened. So what if he was? After what she did. What I did. Seline stepped forward. Maya, I didn't hurt Bella. Someone framed me. Ian told me everything, Maya spat. How you poisoned her because you were jealous. How you couldn't stand that she was having Leo's baby when you're barren. That's not true. Ian loved her. Maya's voice broke. And that baby was his, not Leo's. He was going to run away with her, start a new life. But you killed them both. The words hit like physical blows, but they also revealed the truth. Maya, listen to me. I didn't kill Bella. But I think I know who did. You're lying. Where is Ian now? Jace asked quietly, his voice carrying the weight of royal authority. Maya hesitated, then seemed to crumble. He's dead. They found his body this morning, washed up by the river. Someone had beaten him to death. Seline's heart sank. Their key witness was gone. But, Maya continued, her voice strengthening, he left something for me. Said if anything happened to him, I should make sure the truth came out. She disappeared into the back room and returned with a small leather pouch. Inside was a vial identical to the one found in Seline's chambers, and a note in Ian's handwriting. Jace read it aloud, the real killer is closer than anyone suspects. The Luna is innocent. I have proof, but if you're reading this, they got to me first. The truth is in Bella's room, hidden where only she and I knew. Behind the loose stone by the fireplace. Ian. Seline felt hope bloom in her chest for the first time in days. We have to get back to the castle. It's already midnight, Jace pointed out. We have less than 18 hours. Then we'd better hurry. As they prepared to leave, Maya caught Seline's arm. I'm sorry. Ian he wasn't thinking clearly after Bella died. He was angry and needed someone to blame. He loved her, Seline said gently. That's not something to apologize for. The ride back felt twice as long, dawn breaking over the horizon as the castle came into view. 18 hours had become 12, and they still had to find whatever Ian had hidden and get back to the trial. Their race against time was far from over. Justice and new beginnings. They slipped back into the castle as the first bells chimed 7 in the morning. Sarah met them at a side entrance, her face tight with worry. Leo's been asking for you every hour, she whispered. The guards don't know you're gone yet, but they will soon. We need to get to Bella's room, Seline said urgently. It's been sealed since her death. Leo's orders. Jace's smile was sharp. Then it's a good thing I'm not bound by Leo's orders. Sarah led them through servant passages Seline had never known existed, emerging in a corridor near the guest wing where Bella had lived. 2 guards stood outside her door, but Sarah had come prepared. Kitchen duty, she announced, carrying a tray. Leo wants Bella's room cleaned for the visiting dignitaries. The guards exchanged glances but stepped aside. Sarah had always been beyond suspicion. Inside, Bella's room remained exactly as she'd left it. Her perfume still lingered in the air, her jewelry scattered across the vanity. It felt like walking through a tomb. The fireplace, Jace reminded them. They found the loose stone quickly, Ian's directions had been precise. Behind it was a small cavity containing a bundle wrapped in silk. Celine's hands shook as she unwrapped it. Inside were 3 items that changed everything: a love letter from someone signing themselves only as B, a pregnancy test that showed Bella had been further along than anyone knew, and most damning of all, a small glass vial with traces of the same poison that had killed her. But it was the letter that made Celine's blood run cold. "My darling Bella," Jace read aloud, "I can't wait any longer. The Luna grows suspicious, and Leo talks of making you his official consort. We must act now, before it's too late. The poison will work quickly, she'll never know what hit her. Then we can be together openly, and I can claim my rightful place as your mate and the father of your child. Burn this letter. Trust no one. B. Seline whispered. Not Ian. Someone else entirely. Someone who wanted you dead, Jace said grimly, and was willing to kill Bella to frame you. But who? Seline stopped, her blood turning to ice as understanding dawned. Beta Kendrick. He signs all his reports with just B for Beta. The one who testified against you. Jace's voice was deadly quiet. He's been in love with me for years, Seline said, pieces falling into place. I thought he just respected me, but the way he looked at me sometimes. And when I kept going to him instead of Leo for pack business. He thought he had a chance, Sarah finished grimly. Until Bella came along and Leo started talking about making her his official Luna. So he decided to eliminate both obstacles, Jace said. Kill Bella, frame you for it, and step into the power vacuum as Leo's most trusted advisor. A slow clap echoed from the doorway. Very good. Though you're a bit late to the party. They spun to find Beta Kendrick standing in the entrance, no longer the nervous, sweating man from the trial. His eyes held cold calculation, and the scent of silver and wolfsbane clung to his clothes. I was wondering when someone would find Ian's little hiding spot, Kendrick continued conversationally. Took you long enough. You killed them both, Seline said, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her chest. I killed a pregnant whore who was manipulating our alpha and a lovesick fool who knew too much, Kendrick corrected. And I would have gotten away with it if you just died quietly like you were supposed to. Leo trusted you, Sarah said, her own voice shaking with rage. Kendrick laughed. Leo trusts everyone. That's his weakness. He never saw that I've been running this pack from the shadows for years, making the hard decisions he was too soft to make. Like murdering innocent people. Like protecting what's ours. Kendrick snarled, his facade cracking. Do you have any idea what it was like, watching you waste your potential on that fool? You could have been mine, Seline. We could have ruled together. Instead, you played the perfect little Luna while he paraded his mistresses around. I was never yours to claim, Seline said firmly. No, Kendrick's smile turned ugly. You were too busy pining after the Leopard King. Did you think I didn't notice? The way you looked at him at every diplomatic function. The way you lit up when his letters arrived. Seline felt Jace tense beside her, but Kendrick wasn't finished. It doesn't matter now. You'll all die here, and I'll tell Leo you were trying to escape. The grieving Beta who discovered the Luna's final betrayal. He'll make me his right hand officially, and I'll guide this pack to the greatness it deserves. There's just one problem with your plan, Jace said mildly. Oh. And what's that? You're not the only one who's been planning ahead. The room filled with the sound of footsteps as guards poured through the doorway, not Leo's guards, but Sarah's contacts, pack members who'd never believed in Seline's guilt. We heard everything, one of them announced. Every word. Kendrick's face went white as he realized he'd been trapped. This was a setup. Sarah's been organizing the resistance since the day you had me arrested, Seline said. Amazing what people will do when they discover their beta is a murderer. The Great Hall had never been so packed. Word of Kendrick's confession had spread like wildfire, and every pack member who could fit had crowded inside. Leo sat on his throne, his face a mask of shock and betrayal as the evidence was presented. The love letter. The poison vial. Ian's dying testimony. And most damning of all, Kendrick's recorded confession, captured by Sarah's allies. The evidence is overwhelming, Alpha Cedric announced. Beta Kendrick, you stand convicted of the murders of Bella and Ian, and the attempted murder of Luna Seline through false accusation. Leo's voice was hollow. The sentence is death. But Seline stepped forward. I request mercy. The crowd gasped. Even Jace looked surprised. Mercy? Leo's eyes blazed. He tried to destroy you. He murdered. Life in the silver mines, Seline said firmly. Let him live with what he's done. Let him work to repay the pack he betrayed. Kendrick was led away in chains, his proud bearing finally broken. As he passed Seline, he whispered, you could have been a queen. I already am, she replied quietly. The sun was setting as Seline stood in the gardens, finally free. Leo had formally apologized before the entire pack, dissolving their mating bond and releasing her from all obligations to the Northern Territories. I don't deserve forgiveness, he'd said, but I hope someday you'll find it in your heart to grant it anyway. She'd nodded graciously, but her heart was already elsewhere. Regrets? Jace asked, appearing beside her with that silent grace that had always made her pulse quicken. Only that it took this long to find you, she admitted. He turned her to face him, his hands gentle on her cheeks. Siobhan. I like the way you say my name, she whispered. I like the way you say mine, he replied, and then he was kissing her, soft and sweet and full of promise. When they broke apart, the mate bond sang between them, no longer hidden or suppressed. She could feel his love, his relief, his absolute devotion, and she knew he felt the same from her. So what now? She asked. Now, Jace smiled, we go home. To the Leopard Territories, where you'll be not just my mate, but my queen. If you'll have me. I'll have you, she said, standing on her toes to kiss him again. Always. Behind them, Sarah watched with tears in her eyes as her Luna, her friend, finally found her happiness. The pack would heal. Trust would be rebuilt. And Seline would finally have the love she'd always deserved. As they walked away together, hand in hand, Seline looked back once at the castle that had been her prison for so long. Then she turned toward her future, toward her true mate, toward a life where she would never again be mistreated or undervalued. The Leopard King squeezed her hand gently. Ready, my queen. Ready, she said, and meant it with every fiber of her being. They disappeared into the forest together, two souls finally united, their bond glowing like starlight in the gathering darkness. Behind them, the Northern Territories began the long process of healing, while ahead lay a kingdom where Seline would be cherished, protected, and loved as she'd always deserved to be. The mistreated Luna had finally found her home. The end.